All right, we make trip number 2 to Atlanta, find out who the numbers say will win, and find out who I say will win. Coming up next on the preview. All right, so like I said in the opening, this is the second trip to Atlanta. If you remember the first race, you'll remember Kyle Larson dominated that thing until the very end when his tires gave up and Ryan Blaney went sailing to victory. So that is one important thing to remember about this track. It is a horsepower track. Whoever has the better horsepower package typically wins. Typically it's a Ford track because in previous years, Ford has had the most horsepower. But as I've said recently, it looks like Chevrolet's found about 15 horsepower from everything I'm reading. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not there. I don't know. But that's what everybody's saying. Chevrolet's found about 15 horsepower. So you would expect a Chevrolet to win, except last race, another Ford won again. So, speaking of previous winners, in the last 4 races, let's look at the previous winners. Kevin Harvick has gotten 2 of them. Ryan Blaney has gotten 1, and Brad Keslowski has gotten 1. So there you have it. 4 Fords are the last current winners of this race, and basically two teams, Stewart-Haas and Penske. So you would expect Penske and Stewart-Haas to run well, except for the fact that Stewart-Haas has not run well this year, and their lone bright spot has been Kevin Harvick. Clint Bowyer had a really good average finish here. So, and it looks like Briscoe is kind of slightly starting to put it together here midway through the season. So possibly Briscoe could have a decent run. Harvick will probably run. I don't know if he'll contend for the lead. He did finish here 10th the previous race. But those are your previous 4 winners, all Fords, so keep that in mind. Okay, so for everybody in the average finish camp, you're just going to pick your best 4 average finish for your DraftKings thing or whatever. We'll look at the top 10 average finishes, and they go Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Clint Bowyer, throw him out, and I guess Briscoe or whoever you want to go with Stewart-Haas there. Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keslowski, Alex Bowman, and Austin Dillon. Interesting there. So that might be a value pick for your fantasy stuff there. So those are your top 10 in average finish from the previous 4 races at Atlanta. So with all those numbers, you sort of put them together, and it starts to develop, about 5 or 6 guys you want to look at. But there is one other number you would like to look at racetracks. I don't always talk about this on the preview, but I will today because I feel like it's important here. Laps led, and I'll tell you why it's important. If you go to laps led, one guy has led 411 laps. The next closest guy has led 377 laps. And everybody else is in the 70s to 50s range below them. Those 2 guys are Kevin Harvick with 377 and Kyle Larson with 411 laps led in 3 races, because don't forget, he missed a race last year due to the suspension. So Kyle Larson has absolutely dominated this track. And it looks like his car falls off maybe towards the end. So here's how I would pick them. So with that information, here's how I would make my picks. If I am picking, and this is just straight from the numbers, all you guys are like, oh, you're riding Kyle Larson or whatever. Yeah, I am riding Kyle Larson because he's having the best season. But also this time, the numbers actually point to Kyle Larson winning. The only thing you can hope for if you want Kyle Larson to lose in this race is another really long run and Kyle Larson's tires to fall off. And let's think about that for 1 second. These guys know that his tires fell off last time. So Larson is probably going to do, and his crew chief are probably going to do something to improve that for long run speed. So I wouldn't expect his tires to fall off quite as much. And he probably won't have as much speed because he won't need as much speed. Remember, he was absolutely killing them that race. So I would say Kyle Larson would have to be your odds-on favorite due to numbers, due to hot streak, due to everything. He's in better equipment, whatever you want to say. Kyle Larson has got to be your number 1 pick for this race. What you got to hope for if you're not going to pick Kyle Larson is that you have another long run, but you got to know that Kyle Larson and his team are going to work on long run speed. And you got to hope to have a guy with a good average finish that is always there at the end of races and can, sort of clean this thing up like Ryan Blaney did. So speaking of Ryan Blaney, any of your Penske guys would be a good pick. Brad Keslowski, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney. I know DiBenedetto drives for them, but that 21 car has either not had speed or Matt's not getting the best of the equipment, one or the other. But either way, I would leave him off of the Penske list. The other thing I would look at is trending and average finish right now. Trending upward is Kyle Busch with his finishes, and also he's got a really good average finish, and he's got some laps led at this track. So I would put sort of Kyle Busch in that mix too of guys who could win. I want to say Truex, but Truex has really been slumping. I don't know what's going on with that team. So he would be outside. And Denny Hamlin also has a good average finish here. So those would be my picks. Penske and Gibbs would be my outside picks if Kyle Larson doesn't win this race. And of course, obviously, the other 3 Hendrick drivers, you got to throw them in here. Although, aside from Bowman, they don't have a really good average finish in the last 4 races. Okay, that is all I got for you. If you have anything that I might have missed, leave it down in the comments. If you like the content, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.